Hi, Ethan and Aubrey. This is The Tale of Tom Kitten by Beatrix Potter. The words are backwards because of the camera. Once upon a time, there you go, there were 3 little kittens, and their names were Mittens, Tom Kitten, and Moppet. They had dear little fur coats of their own, and they tumbled out about the doorstep and played in the dust. But one day their mother, Mrs. Tabitha Twitchit, expected friends to tea, so she fetched the kittens indoors to wash and dress them before the fine company arrived. She wanted her kids to look all nice and clean for her company, not their usual raggedy way. First, she scrubbed their faces. This one right here that she's scrubbing, that's Moppet. Then she brushed their fine fur. This one is Mittens. Then she combed their tails and whiskers. This one is Tom Kitten. And Tom was very naughty because he scratched. Do you see him scratching at his mother? Look at the other two. They're saying, "What's Tom Kitten doing to Mother? What a naughty boy." Mrs. Tabitha dressed Moppet and Mittens in clean pinafores and tuckers. Those are a kind of a dress. So I guess Moppet and Mittens are girls because they're wearing dresses. See them sitting on the window shelf? Looks like she's getting out a pair of pants for Tom. And then she took all sorts of elegant, uncomfortable clothes out of a chest of drawers in order to dress up her son Thomas. Tom Kitten was very fat, and he had even grown more. Several buttons burst off. He can't even fit in his clothes. His mother sewed them on again. When the 3 kittens were ready, Mrs. Tabitha, unwisely, turned them out into the garden to be out of the way while she made hot buttered toast. "Now keep your frocks clean, children." Frocks means their clothes. "You must walk on your hind legs." See how they're walking on their back legs only, not on all 4 paws like a cat usually does? "Keep away from the dirty ash pit, and from Sally Hennypenny, and from the pigsty and the puddle ducks." So they have to stay really clean. And they're not allowed to hang around with Sally Hennypenny, and they're not allowed to go to the pigsty, and they're not allowed to hang around with the puddle ducks. They must all be dirty things. Moppet and Mittens walked down the garden path unsteadily. Probably they're not used to walking on their back legs all the time. Uh-oh. It looks like one of them is losing their dress, and she's not on her back legs like she's supposed to be. Or is that Tom down there? Who's that on the ground? Oh, look, there's a butterfly. Presently they trod upon their pinafores, remember that's their dresses, and fell on their noses. When they stood up, there were several green smears. So they're getting grass stains on their clean clothes. "Let us climb up on the rockery." See the rock wall? You gotta look close. There's the rocks there behind the green ferns. And let's sit on the garden wall. They turned their pinafores back to front. They turned them around so the front is in the back and the back is in the front. And went up with a skip and a jump. Moppet's white tucker fell down the road. I don't know what a tucker is. What is a tucker? I have no idea. I'm going to have to look that one up. It's not a dress, because a pinafore is a dress. Tom Kitten was quite unable to jump up when walking on his back legs. There's Tom, busting out of his suit again. He came upon the rockery by degrees, breaking the ferns and shutting buttons left and right. He was all in pieces by the time he reached the top of the wall. Moppet and Mittens tried to pull him together. His hat fell off. I'm trying to read these words backwards. His hat fell off. I can't do it. And the rest of his buttons burst. While they were in difficulties, there was a pit-paddle-pat. Oh, that must be the ducks coming along. And the 3 puddle ducks came along the hard high road, marching one behind the other, and doing the goose step. Pit-paddle-putt, pit-paddle-pat. Now that was a waddle. So it goes pit-paddle-pat, pit-pat-waddle-pat. Oh my, that's a mouthful. They stopped and stood in a row and stared up at the kittens. They had very small eyes, and they looked surprised. Then the 2 duck birds, Rebecca and Jemima Puddle Duck, picked up the hat and tucker and put them on. I see the hat, so what's the tucker? Well, the tucker must be something that goes around your neck, like a collar, like a fake collar. Do you see where that one has on? Right there. That thing around her neck. Yes. Mittens laughed so that she fell off the wall. None of them have clothes on now. All their clothes are off. Moppet and Tom descended after her. That means they came down. When you descend, they came down after her. The pinafores, that's their dresses, and all the rest of Tom's clothes came off on the way down. "Come, Mr. Drake Puddle Duck," said Moppet. "Come and help us to dress him. Come and help us to button up Tom." Mr. Drake Puddle Duck advanced in a slow sideways manner and picked up the various articles. Do you think he's going to help Tom get dressed? Or do you think he's just going to take his clothes away or put them on himself? What is Mr. Puddle Duck going to do with Tom's clothes? I don't even know. Oh, here we go. Ah! But he put them on himself. I was afraid that might happen. They fitted him even worse than they fit Tom Kitten. "It's a very fine morning," said Mr. Drake Puddle Duck. I guess he feels like he's very dapper now in his clothing. And he and Jemima and Rebecca Puddle Duck set off down the road, keeping step. Pit, pat, paddle, pat. Pit, pat, waddle, pat. And they've got half the kitten's clothes on. Or do they have all their clothes on? It looks like the two girls put on the dresses. So the three ducks have the three kittens' clothes. And what's their mother going to say about that? Well, we're going to find out, because here she is. Then Tabitha Twitchit came down the garden and found her kittens on the wall with no clothes on. Oh, there she is. You see their mom back there? They're looking the other way. They must not see her, but she sees them. Oh, do you think she's going to whip them or something? She did. She pulled them off the wall and she smacked them and took them back to the house. My friends will arrive in a minute, and you are not fit to be seen. I am affronted. That means they, made her look bad. She's very disgusted with them. She sent them upstairs, and I am sorry to say she told her friends that they were in bed with the measles. So she told her friends that they were sick. Which was not true. Quite the contrary. They were not in bed. Oh, looks like they're making a mess. Not in the least. Somehow, there were very extraordinary noises overhead. You see them raising a ruckus in the room? And the ladies downstairs can hear it through the ceiling. And those noises disturbed the dignity and the repose of the tea party. And I think that someday I shall have to make another book to tell you more about Tom Kitten. There's their mom. Boy, they made that room a mess. As for the puddle ducks, they went into a pond. The clothes all came off directly because there were no buttons left on them. There's all the clothes floating around in the pond. And Mr. Drake Puddle Duck and Jemima and Rebecca have been looking for them ever since. See, the clothes sunk. And now they're sticking their heads under the pond trying to find those clothes. Never found them. And that's the end. That's the back page. These are all characters in Beatrix Potter's stories. The end. I gotta look up there.